The first reading, a long reading from the prophet Ezekiel, and we have the vision of the prophet seeing a temple, and the temple has water gushing out of it. And the water's gushing out of it, and you all, hopefully you remember these words. Destroy this temple, in 3 days I will rebuild it. Who said that? And what was he talking about when he said that? Talking about his body and the resurrection. And so the temple that Ezekiel sees is Jesus' body. And the water that's flowing out of the temple is the water and blood that flowed out of the side of Jesus. And those waters are the waters of baptism that go out into the world and make new and bring fruitfulness to the world. So, again, we have to put our prophetic interpretation glasses on when we read some of these things, but I'm here to tell you that's one of the appropriate ways to see what Ezekiel is talking about there. So the temple flowing with life-giving water, that is the body of Christ, and that water is even here in our holy water fonts and in our baptism. So we have that. Now we have another kind of image of baptism where we have these healing waters or supposedly healing waters. It's really kind of an interesting tale that we have. I don't want to dive too deeply into whether these waters were really healing and what was the spirit that stirred up the waters and all of that stuff. But nonetheless, you can go visit this place if you go to the Holy Land. It's been excavated, and there it is. It's not very neat. It's not pretty, but it's there. You know, it's there. There's the place where these pools were, Bethesda. Now, this is going to be the same old homily I gave the last time I read this gospel. What did Jesus ask the man? Do you want to be well? And what was the man's response? There's nobody to help me. That's not what Jesus asked him. Jesus asked him, do you want to be well? And he starts making excuses. "38 years. He's unwell for 38 years. Now, there's an interesting exchange here. Do you want to be well? There's nobody to help me. Pick up your mat and go. So Jesus heals him. And then, this isn't normal. I don't know if there's another instance, there's not one that comes to my mind, where Jesus goes back and says to the guy, don't sin anymore, or something worse is going to happen to you. Which leads us to believe that the man's condition had something to do with something that he, through my most grievous fault, what I have done and what I have failed to do. So 38 years of his life more or less wasted, and Jesus can cut through all that, can't he? And pick us up and heal us. What is your infirmity? Do you want to be well? And so I'm thinking of, my brain in the modern world today. I think about all the addictions that so many people have. I think of horrible marriages that I'm aware of, and it takes two to tango, I know. There's a lot of bad marriages where there's unwellness. Do you want to be well? Or do you want to be stuck in the addiction that you're stuck in, stuck in the bad habits that you're stuck in. And so Jesus is asking Mike O'Connor that question today. Michael, do you want to be well? He's asking each one of us, do you want to be well? Let's not make excuses when we hear Jesus ask us that. Let's say, yes, Lord, I want to be well. Heal me, forgive me, show me, guide me, light the path before me. I want to be well. I want my marriage to be well. I want my job to be well. I want my physical person to be well. I want my mental and my emotional state to be well. I want to be free of addictions and habits that bind me and paralyze me. I want to be well. I want to be well.